Today on The Doctors. Aging is a completely natural process that occurs in the human body, but according to a recent study, scientists have identified which specific protein can actually advance or delay this important stage.
The most important thing above all else is to truly feel good. It's very important at my age. Well, to exercise.
The protein responsible for aging is located in the kidney, an organ in charge of many important functions for the body.
Thank God I have a positive way of looking at life. I am very active in my personal life.
How to identify the aging protein and what can we do to ensure a healthy future with fewer diseases? There are spots on the skin that go beyond the impact of the sun, and it could be the sign of a more serious health problem.
It gives me a lot of medicine, but no, it's just age.
Age? You think so?
Almost 90 years old.
Learn to differentiate the spots and to know what message they have from your body. Join us for today's medical appointment on The Doctors with Thais Alfaro.
It is 10:01 in the morning. We are here on The Doctors, very happy to have your faithful company every day this week from Monday to Friday. You know, this is your medical appointment starting at 10. I'm Thais Alfaro, and well, you've already seen the topics we have prepared for today. Speaking of curiosities and science and how health issues are advancing, today we're going to open this program with a protein they call the longevity protein. But we want to know how it works and what the benefits of this protein are, and that's why today we have the honor of having Dr. William Rojas here, who is an expert in regenerative medicine. How are you doing, doctor?
Very well, thank you. Good morning. As always, it's a pleasure to share new lessons we're learning in the field of regenerative medicine.
Which are so many, right? So much progress that it's scary sometimes, right?
Yes, the process is definitely moving quite fast right now.
What is this protein I mentioned to the viewers known as the longevity protein? It's called Klotho.
Klotho, it's spelled with a K. Let's go ahead and make something like an identity card for the Klotho protein. Basically, a quick summary of its key features and what makes it important.
Very well, let's do it.
It starts with K, it's spelled Klotho. Klotho, which is a protein, was actually discovered for the very first time approximately 30 years ago. And since then, it has become an important subject of scientific research.
But do we actually produce it ourselves? And where exactly is this protein located?
As part of that protein profile, we can say its origin is endogenous production, meaning we produce it in the kidney, partly in the brain, and another part in the muscles, and in other organs of the body. But usually when we hear, oh, it's the longevity protein, we're probably going to be thinking immediately, where do I get that protein? I want it.
If it's going to make me age healthily and well,
we want it.
Right?
The most interesting thing is that we have that protein inside with us. So far, it hasn't been synthesized. There are no products that can tell you, the viewer, and everyone joining us on social media too, that can tell you and sell you, here is the Klotho protein in a product. No, not yet. We're working on it, and part of all the research being done is on the pathway to be able to stimulate the Klotho protein. Now, why is it so important from the standpoint of regenerative medicine? It turns out it plays a role in brain health, it plays a role in muscle health, it plays a role in bone health, it plays a role in the immune system, and it's a regulator of the entire process of detoxification of the body. So it has all those ways that the Klotho protein can participate in the body. So of course, for those of us who study the subject of regeneration, it's a protein that has strongly caught our attention and is being studied worldwide to see how to stimulate it.
Okay, let's see then. Recapping, it helps with brain issues, with immune system issues. That is so that we stay stronger, this system more strengthened. You said in the muscles.
Yes.
In the bones.
Bones.
But what does it do in all of this? For example, speaking of the muscle itself.
It's just that the protein, we call it a protein because its form is that of a protein, but it has several functions. It has a hormone-like capacity. Sometimes it's even called the Klotho hormone because it's like a distributor. Let's imagine a soccer match. It's the center player who distributes.
It's the most important thing?
Well, yes. Picks up help in the back and moves the ball forward. Klotho This protein performs that function in the body. It's distributed in such a way that it's distributing to the muscle. Since you asked me about the muscle, it's creating conditions for the muscle to respond to the signals it receives from the brain, and that's where all the muscle transformation comes from. The muscle issue is considered one of the most important topics currently being discussed in the field of longevity because it serves as a strong marker of what the aging process actually means. See, if we have very little muscle, it's already giving us clear signs that the body is lacking something essential. If we have good muscle mass, it does not necessarily mean that we have to be super muscular.
Big.
Gifted.
Yes.
In your muscles, having good muscle strength is actually an important indicator of positive body evolution as well as overall general function.
And I'm talking to you about muscle because generally when we pass a certain age, we know that we're going to lose a little bit of muscle. We have to start making every effort to maintain it. But if we also talk about the issue of bone, which is another important topic as we get older, what could you tell us so that, I don't know if there's some way that this protein can be generated more or that I can favor this production of Klotho, which is the protein we're talking about somehow with diet, with a lifestyle. I don't know how, if it's so beneficial, how can I encourage it?
Yes, that's actually the part I like the most because since we already have it inside us, we really need to work on our life habits. And stimulating the Klotho protein is interesting because it truly has two sides of the same coin.
Yes.
One is called stimulating the protein, how we produce more, and another is how we protect it. So I'm going to talk first about how we stimulate it. Of course, some foods are already known. Especially it has to do with the Mediterranean diet. We call it the Mediterranean diet. It's this delicious combination of healthy fats, like those in olive oil, along with fish and plenty of fresh vegetables. Then we have another very important contribution called muscle exercise. It's another element that activates the internal production of the Klotho protein.
All types of exercise.
Well, that's a very, very broad field. In fact, we already have sports specialists, exercise medicine specialists, because it is important, and it's a good point that it's not just like exercising for the sake of it, it's that it depends on our age, our physical conditions.
Yes.
If we have a physical injury or if we have had one recently, well, we had some problems such as a fall, and because of that, the level of exercise we are able to do and the type of exercise that can help favor the Klotho protein is not always the same for everyone. So exercise is definitely on the list of important things we need to do to improve the Klotho protein, but it has to be personalized exercise. We always say that it is very important to do exercise that is appropriate for our own physical condition, because exercise in the extreme, if we push our muscles beyond their capacity in a certain range, it will generate stress, muscle stress, and the Klotho protein will actually drop. So exercise and muscle function are very important, but they must be regulated. The other aspect that is extremely valuable has to do with taking care of your sleep. Sleep is completely correlated with the production of Klotho. It's about getting proper sleep, not just the number of hours in bed, which we say isn't just the time we spend lying down.
But 7 or 8 hours there.
It's the quality, reaching that REM sleep stage. And during those deep sleep processes, the brain cleanses itself, there's cellular regeneration in the brain, and Klotho production increases. So these are the important things: diet, exercise, and taking care of your sleep. On the other hand, we've talked about things that activate it. Now we need things that
defend it, that protect it, of course, so that this protein stays there. Doctor, I actually wanted to stay on that point because we've discussed how to stimulate it through diet, exercise, and sleep. Now let's see how we can protect it, because we already have that protein within us. However, before we learn how to defend it, I'd like to introduce you, doctor, and our viewers to Mrs. Xenia. She is 72 years old, Mrs. Xenia Lopez. I love her story. She's going to share with us how at her age she has such an enviable and healthy lifestyle that I think she'll inspire us all. Let's see.
Mrs. Xenia Lopez, a resident of Alajuela, is 72 years old and claims that staying active has become one of her primary tools for maintaining health and better facing the passage of time. Let's learn part of her story.
I go twice a week to the Marcial Rodriguez Clinic, where I get my regular treatments. The most important thing above all else is truly feeling good about yourself. It's very important at my age, well, to exercise. It's a Zumba class for seniors.
Consistency is often one of the biggest challenges when it comes to incorporating exercise into a daily routine. She told us what motivates her to keep going.
Thank God I have a positive way of looking at life. I'm very active in my personal life, and this has given me, I don't know, like more strength to keep on fighting.
But exercise isn't the only habit that's part of her lifestyle. Nutrition also plays an important role in her well-being.
Fruit, vegetables, carbohydrates, and I don't really eat much junk food, and that's actually how I manage to stay fit.
And if you've thought about starting to exercise but haven't decided yet, Doña Xenia wanted to share a message based on her own experience.
Life is truly very short, so we really must live it to the fullest. And regular exercise, as well as keeping yourself busy, is simply a part of everyday life. Well,
Thank you very much to Doña Xenia for sharing that with us. Part of her lifestyle that I think has to do with what Dr. Rojas already said, diet, sleep, exercise, so that we stimulate this very special protein. This protein, I'll remind you, it's 1013, is called Klotho protein, spelled Klotho, in case you want to look for more information. This protein is so beneficial that, yes, before we move on to see how we can protect it, in short, for those who are just tuning in as well, doctor, why is this protein so important? 3 little things that you'd say, well, for this, this, and this.
Because it's recognized that it's at the center of many cellular functions of repair, because at the end of the day, in our daily lives, we're not thinking 20 years ahead. Today, our body is in a constant search for health and has to face bacteria, viruses, dysfunctions in the body, toxicities, diseases, and the Klotho protein is becoming that molecule, not the only one. It's like the orchestra conductor, helping the muscle be well, the bones be well, the cognitive part be well, the defenses be well. So if you add up each of those factors, in the end, it gives us a healthy life. That is the reason why Klotho is
At this
moment under so much study.
Well, 10:15, we have a segment called The Clinic. It's a space where you can also take advantage of the fact that Dr. William Rojas is with us. He's an expert in regenerative medicine. What's new that we have right now in this area of health so that we can age healthily, so that there are fewer and fewer diseases knocking on our door, fewer ailments. We know there are many at home suffering some pain, some medical situation, and we want you to know about this protein that you yourself have in your body, and that you can also protect it or also stimulate it. So the phone numbers are appearing on the screen. If you want to know more about that protein, what to do if you want to get rid of some ailment, or why not also prevent it, there are the numbers. It's 22, 90, 62, 35, and 64, 77, 77, 78. William Rojas is the specialist who is joining us today. That's the WhatsApp number and also the phone number where you can call during these next few minutes. I'll assist you, and of course the doctor will answer any questions you have. What foods? Now, Mrs. Xenia was telling us about her diet, but what foods should not be missing in a diet oriented towards this longevity? The Mediterranean diet. You were saying then olive oil?
Olive oil.
Definitely, it is cooked, not raw, not uncooked.
Well, all that is a big topic, because when overcooked, oils begin to lose their properties. But yes, in a salad, virgin olive oil is excellent.
Yes.
Fish.
Meats.
Colors. Meat, which is protein, is entirely within the framework of things that can improve health. And what we've heard for a long time, having colors in our diet, red fruits, so blueberries, having strawberries, having a different amount, variety, because the body needs many things. I'd like to include among the options we have to activate the Klotho protein, magnesium, thinking of them as supplements. Okay, magnesium and vitamin D. Vitamin D is being, in regenerative medicine, it's a very important element. Of course, it requires an evaluation by a doctor. We shouldn't be taking excessive amounts of vitamin D, but rather have the optimal level of vitamin D, which will be an activator of the Klotho protein. So magnesium, vitamin D, we're talking about omega-3, which is also a protector, a cardioprotector. So these are the main elements that actually help with the activation of the protein.
What is currently known about compounds like curcumin? We've heard a lot about resveratrol, quercetin as well. These components, because in health food stores, in these places, one always tends to hear and they tell you, you have to take this, but is that enough? What is known regarding the relationship with this protein?
They have an interesting aspect in that they provide a reduction of toxins, and it's an antioxidant. All of them, a list of antioxidants that participate in the process of allowing the cell to be clean. That's what an antioxidant is. Even glutathione is included. Glutathione is a very important molecule that has also shown a relationship because it's the molecule, the master antioxidant of the body. The liver produces it. There are also ways to activate glutathione. But that combination of resveratrol, we also have inositol. I'm talking about some related topics that should be researched, studied a bit more, but they're related to the ability to have a better environment for the cell because the cell gets dirty. Let's look at a very simple example. The mitochondria is in the center of the cell. Mitochondria are like our power batteries.
Sure.
They receive glucose. They burn and produce energy.
Yes.
Cellular. But every time there's energy production, there's also a release of free radicals, and free radicals age us. So that's where all these components come in, resveratrol, all the antioxidants, glutathione, which help clean that mitochondria so that when it's clean again, it produces energy once more. It's a positive cycle that must exist, and that is connected to the function of the protein.
Of the protein? Do you know what they're asking us? In fact, we're going to open the clinic right now so you can call in. So let's take a look, please. (2290-6235) is the phone number where you can call Dr. William Rojas right now. He's an expert physician in regenerative medicine. We're talking about all this omega-3, magnesium, resveratrol, quercetin. Which one else am I missing? Let's see.
Glutathione.
Glutathione as well. All this that has to do with the Klotho protein that we're talking about, this very important protein that distributes. It's there in the center. It's the one that distributes to other cells what we need to function well and especially to age healthily. You already told us how to stimulate it with diet, with good sleep. That is, that your sleep be restorative, but also
exercise.
Exercise. Not every type of exercise will benefit you. We should then have this awareness of what is best, what it is that I'm needing. But viewers are also asking us through our WhatsApp, how do I activate it? You were telling us that we stimulate it this way, but is this protein always active in everyone, doctor?
It's activated with the processes we talked about, diet and all that, but it's been known that exercise is number one on the list. That is an exercise where we make the muscle suffer a little bit. I say suffer as an extra. It's that extra mile the muscle goes, it generates a signal to the brain, and the brain will tell the Klotho protein, wake up, wake up. So it's actually the main factor that has been found, and we do have other mechanisms as well. However, those mechanisms are not within us. Instead, they're external to us. They are stimulations from outside sources. There's equipment, pulsed electromagnetic fields, other electrical microstimulation devices that generate frequencies through the skin because we are bioelectrical. So those external frequencies also help to stimulate the protein. But answering the question, exercise is number one.
Which maybe sometimes we don't, right? Like we want to run away from exercise a bit, but see how beneficial it is in all areas of our lives. We have a phone call, the first one of the morning. Hello, Diana, where are you calling from? Welcome to Los Doctores.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm calling from La Uruca. I want to be very brief.
Go ahead, please.
I'm 50 years old. I exercise a lot. I do about 100 kilometers a week on a bicycle, plus weight training, which is very important at my age. I'm currently in menopause and I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I'd like to know how I can boost regeneration to help with fibromyalgia in my specific case. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Very good question. Thank you very much, Mrs. Diana. I think that, I don't know, if I had to say the most heard of disease or condition these days, it's exactly that, fibromyalgia. How it affects women so much. And this question is extraordinary because it leads us toward the path of avoiding pain.
Yes, I love Diana's question, and I can tell her in general because each case is special, it's unique. She's doing very good things. Maybe we need to review the number of kilometers she's doing per week, but she's...
A lot, okay? Too much.
It has to be personalized. I can't say for her if it's a lot or a little. We have to see her condition.
Of course.
So from our approach, what do we do first? A general study. We need to see her oxidation levels, her inflammation levels, because fibromyalgia is related to inflammation. And it's a connection very, very important between physical inflammation, but inflammation from a nervous system point of view, because the nervous system is involved. So yes, indeed, exercise is very good. We need to check Diana's sleep, how the hormonal part is. So our approach will be, well, how are her hormone levels? How is her testosterone? How is her progesterone? And
estrogen, she's in menopause.
Sure. So with the test results in hand, we can now make adjustments for those hormonal levels. Nutrition is absolutely key for her. So the topic we were talking about, as well as some supplementation, is important. But in her case, we really must also include the emotional aspect, since that plays a significant role too. I mean, we really need to carefully check her sleep patterns and also look at how she is actually sleeping, no? Because that is closely connected to the body's entire nervous structure, which in turn is ultimately linked to the muscles and the pain experienced with fibromyalgia. So it's a comprehensive approach that we need to take with her.
When you mention the emotional aspect, there must also be a mental health professional involved. In the case of those with fibromyalgia, doctor?
We usually look at the cases and evaluate them. If professional support is required, of course, we evaluate the cases as we go, because sometimes it can be more of a neurotransmitter deficiency. So from a medical standpoint, we can support that so the body and brain have the right nutrients to produce serotonin, which is related to this field. And especially in the intestinal part, very important, the microbiome. So it's a connection of many things we need to look at with her to offer a comprehensive response.
Yes. Miss Xenia, hopefully you'll write down the doctor's number later so he can help you. Also on social media, right, there's so much information now regarding this topic of regenerative medicine. We have a new phone call from Tres Rios. We welcome Miss Maria. How are you doing?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Los Doctores.
Thank you very much. Blessings to you all.
Amen. Same to you.
I have, a question. I am 51 years old. About 4 months ago, I think I was diagnosed with high blood pressure. Since then, I started taking care of myself in terms of diet, cutting back, removing rice, bread, potatoes, cassava, and all those things.
Starches.
The starches, correct. I mean, I don't eat junk food. I went back to exercising, both water-based and like walking or aerobic exercises. My question is, I heard the doctor talking about magnesium. I'm not one to take chemical medication, so to speak. I like to do everything very naturally. I always tell my husband that I embrace my indigenous roots.
Very well then.
I like to make natural magnesium, that is grinding the seeds with cacao and cinnamon. But I've been hearing that there are types of magnesium for different things. My question is it correct, let's say, for me to take magnesium the way I'm taking it, or should I have some kind of test or something to know if it's okay, or if I need to take another type of magnesium? I just didn't know that there's one magnesium for one thing and another for something else.
Yes. I think that's also important to emphasize. Ms. Maria, thank you very much for your question. We congratulate you because you're not only exercising, but you're also making a lifestyle change by choice, right? Because after receiving a diagnosis, it's up to us whether or not, doctor, if we want to continue with this same lifestyle, or if, on the contrary, as Miss Maria did, change it. But in the end, what she says is true. There are different types of magnesium, how to identify which one is needed.
Correct in her case. I also want to congratulate her. She's on the right track. Making all the lifestyle habit adjustments, blood pressure and damage to blood pressure, is damage that has been chronic. It doesn't just appear in one day, but it was over a long time. So thinking about the repair of the entire endothelium, which is the inner part of the arteries, is not going to happen in 2 or 3 days. First of all, that our advice from regenerative medicine is the patient has to be under control. If it's necessary to take the medication with the doctor, the pharmaceutical medication has to be discussed with your doctor. We can't allow blood pressure spikes. It's not right, it's not recommended. And then make the habit changes, including magnesium, of which there are indeed about 8 different types. And thinking about the Klotho protein, which she is activating with her physical activity, eating better, and the Klotho protein has a beneficial effect on the cardiovascular system. So everything she's doing is very good. Magnesium L-threonate is a good option because it also helps the brain in her case. So it's magnesium L-threonate, but we have 8 different magnesiums. It's a very big topic that would need to be addressed, but she's on a very good path and we encourage her.